What would be the best lens choice for wedding photography or event photography these days, and the lenses available on the market at this moment? Let's talk a little bit about this topic. Hello YouTubers, my name is Attila Mate from Blue Sky Photography, and today we are outside again. I climbed up here. There's a hill up above Waterford City, and I climbed up here. I wanted to show you guys the beautiful Waterford City where I live, and I have to tell you that it is very, very nice up here. So I was thinking today I will do the video up here, just to be a different view, different scenery. So today I would like to talk to you about, oops, there is a problem down there with the police. So today I would like to talk to you about the best lens selection choice at this moment, what you can get on the market for wedding photography, for wedding or event photography. So you have to choose your lenses carefully, because if you are a wedding photographer, because lenses are much more important than camera bodies, and I cannot emphasize this enough. And I don't know if you saw my other video about this, but if you didn't, I will place a card up here so you can see what I'm talking about. Lenses are very, very important, because camera body sensors, they cannot shine if they don't have a brilliant, nice lens on it. Your camera will shine only if you have a nice lens on it. So if you are a prime shooter, or if you are a zoom shooter, because many photographers will shoot only primes, many photographers will shoot only zooms. Myself, I shoot mixed zooms and primes. So if you are a prime or zoom shooter, it doesn't matter. You have to choose your lenses very carefully. Now, if you shoot APS-C, because with full frame, you've got a big variety of lenses. With full frame, your choices are much bigger, like with APS-C, because with APS-C, many photographers will say, yes, you can use the full frame lenses on the APS-C camera. It's true. 100% true, you can use it, but there are two disadvantages. One disadvantage is that the lenses are expensive, because they are made for full frame, they are larger, they are bigger, and second, they are larger and heavier. And also, I have to tell you, if you compare a full frame lens on an APS-C size camera with an APS-C size designed lens on an APS-C size camera, you will see that the APS-C size lens, it will perform better than the full frame lens. And don't get me wrong, and many photographers might be angry and might say, well, that's not true and blah blah blah. I have to tell you something. I use the Sigma art zooms, the 18-35 and the 50-100, and I use Samyang manual primes. And I tell you something, the Samyang manual primes, they are tech sharp. They are like, I can't even tell you. You can check yourself, like on the DxO Mark website. Sharpness of the Samyang primes, they are just excellent. They are between the bests. But still, when I put on my Nikon D7200, the Sigma art zooms, they will swipe them away. Why? Because they are made and designed for APS-C size camera. And you have to understand this, a lens designed for APS-C size camera will be always better than if you buy a full frame lens and put on your APS-C size camera. I don't say they are not good, I don't say they don't work on it, they will work on it and it will be good, but it won't be as good as you have an excellent lens made and designed for APS-C size camera and use it on APS-C size camera. So I tell you something. First, let's talk about the primes. If I would have to use primes only, on APS-C size, I would use 24mm f1.4, 50mm f1.2, and 85mm f1.2. Now, if I use primes only, and if you like shallow depth of field, why I say 50mm f1.2 and 85mm f1.2? Why I say that? Because if you use an APS-C size camera, you have to balance up the disadvantage of the smaller size of the APS-C size camera with faster glass. And if you don't really understand what I'm talking about, I will place a card up here so you can see that video where I'm talking about the disadvantage and the advantage. The advantage of the full frame camera over the APS-C and the disadvantage. So in that video I will explain much more in detail what I'm talking about. So why you need a faster glass on APS-C. So if you like shallow depth of field, you must have faster glass. That's why I say 50mm f1.2 and 85mm f1.2. Now at the moment, unfortunately, the 85mm f1.2 it's available from Canon and it's available from Samyang. But I'm pretty sure that in the future, you know, it will be on the market more 85mm from Sigma, I would say 1.2, and maybe from Tamron as well. So the choices will be much wider. But at the moment you can choose the Samyang or the Canon. Now if you are mirrorless shooter, you can use them with adapters, or if you are a Canon shooter, then you have no problem at all. Now, which brand? Obviously it doesn't really matter which brand, it depends on your budget and how much you want to spend. So if you have money and you can spend money, no problem, then you will buy Canon or Nikon lens. If you want to save money, you can buy Samyang or Tamron or Sigma lenses. If you cannot buy f1.2 lenses, that's not a big problem. You can buy f1.4, and even with f1.4 you are okay. I use f1.8 lenses, you know, and zoom lenses, and it's fine, you know, it's not a problem. I use f1.4 primes and the 1.8 zooms, so that's not a big issue. Now let's talk about zoom lenses. If I would have to choose zoom lenses for a wedding, I would choose how they call it, the Trinity, you know, the Holy Trinity they call it, you know, that it's 16 to 35 f2.8, 24 to 70 f2.8, and 70 to 200 f2.8. These three zooms, they are from zooms, you know, they are the best zooms for event. You are covered from 16mm until 200mm. You don't need anything else. Now if you shoot on full frame, if you shoot on APS-C like myself, the choice is a little bit different, and this is the reason, one of the reasons I shoot mixed. I shoot primes and zooms. Now what I would choose if I would shoot on APS-C, and I do, I would choose the 18 to 35 f1.8 from Sigma, the 50 to 100 f1.8 from Sigma, and these two, most of the cases, is enough, and I explain to you why. Because the 18 to 35, it would be 27 to 50 f1.8, and the 50 to 100 would be 75 to 150 f1.8. Now you have 150mm f1.8 zoom lens. I mean, that's great, brilliant lens. Now if you need longer, or if you want longer, you can choose again a 70 to 200 f2.8, and that would act on an APS-C like 100 to 300mm f2.8, and that would be the third lens. But that's not really necessary, and I tell you why. Because if you need 200mm, you can do what I do. What I do usually with my Sigma 50 to 100, I will activate in the camera the 1.3 times crop, and then my sensor will act like a Micro Four Thirds sensor. So it will crop in again 1.3 times, and that means that my lens will be 100 to 200mm f1.8. So I will have a 200mm 1.8 lens, and that's great. And I tell you something, most of the cases I didn't get any issue with the Micro Four Thirds size sensor, you know, like that will be like 15 megapixel roughly if you do the 1.3 times crop in the Nikon D7200. So these are the lenses if I would choose, the zoom lenses if I would choose with APS-C size sensor. Now if you can use primes and zooms like myself, that is the best choice, and I tell you why. What I use at the moment, and what I love these lenses, I tell you, these lenses are The 18 to 35 1.8, 50 to 100 f 1.8, Samyang 135 f2, and I use the Samyang 85 f 1.4. Now, the Samyang 135 f2, that will act on an APS-C size camera like a 200mm lens. So I have a 200mm prime lens, f2 prime lens, and that is brilliant because on full frame the fastest 200mm lens you can get is 2.8. So with the APS-C it is brilliant if you have an f2 lens. So these are the choices what I would use on a wedding and what I use on a wedding or event or any of these. So if you have other opinion, if you know a better idea or if you know a better choice, please feel free and leave a comment down below and let's discuss it in a professional manner and let's help others to make choices, because that's the reason of these videos, to help others to make wise and less painful choices, let's say, because I did a lot of painful choices, guys, I tell you, and I just want to save you some money. So I want to save you some bad choices, because I did some bad choices on my time. So if you know some other choices or better choices, please leave a comment down below. And if you like these videos, please like and subscribe and share my videos. And other than that, I wish you a nice day and I see you in the next one. Take care, guys.